segment I want to hit on here real quick. I want to do our first prospect report, our scouting report, if you will. You guys, if you're in the Patreon group, you've already got access to these over there. I don't even know how many we put up, but I've been firing them out in rapid fashion, just doing quick little blurbs. You guys, again, you can find that at patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. And we just took Jake Slaughter, right? So why don't we take a look at his scouting report? And you guys tell me how you would feel about Jake Slaughter. Again, this is kind of a very surface level, I think you would say, scouting report. It also is going to give you an injury history at the end as well, which I think is very, very important to understand exactly how durable these players have stayed. All right, so let's dive into it. Scouting report, Jake Slaughter, center out of Florida. So center/interior offensive lineman. Some people project that he can play guard. Let's just stick to center for a second, okay? And just think of, all right, can he start for the Packers at center? Would that be the right answer, right? His height's been reported somewhere between 6'4" and 6'5", 305 pounds. He will be at the Senior Bowl. He was a captain as well. Those are important things, obviously, to the Packers when we narrow down some of the top potential picks for Green Bay. So biographical overview, a native of Spar, Florida, and a former standout at Trinity Catholic High School. Slaughter has developed into the anchor of the Gators offensive line. Originally a Florida State commit, he flipped to Florida and has since become an All-American caliber leader for the program. All right, here's his physical profile and athleticism. Frame, prototypical height for an interior offensive lineman or interior lineman in general, with good overall size and room for functional strength. Movement, he displays solid mobility for his size. He's effective as a puller and capable of reaching targets in space, though he is described more as, quote, coordinated than explosively fast. All right, so a guy that moves pretty well, can pull if you want to pull the guard or center, whichever position he would play at. Strength, he possesses natural road grading power in the run game. I repeat, he possesses natural road grading power in the run game. He consistently flattens defenders at the point of attack and maintains a strong leg drive to move targets downfield. Tim, I don't know about you, man, but that right there sounds pretty darn good to me. You got somebody that can help in the run game, man, and get some big bodies off the line of scrimmage, dude.
I think that's been our biggest gripe with this O-line, right? You know, pass pro has been all right. I think it's been sufficient for the most part, but man, if we can put some good run blocking in front of Josh Jacobs and our backs, we've got a chance to kind of transform things offensively. So I would agree.
Absolutely. Soder in the chat said, tell me that Slaughter wrestled in high school. I don't know. Maybe it'll mention it here in a second. But, Tim, if you'll make a note off to the side, we'll look that up. We'll do an extensive AI search to see if we can find whether he had a wrestling background or not. Because, again, you guys will notice on our PTA big board, that's important. Any player, no matter what position, if they had a wrestling background, you'll see a little wrestling emoji on there. So you'll know, okay, wrestling background as well. Johnny B in the chat said Keelan Rutledge is a mauler. Obviously, one of the guys we just drafted, right? So, boy, could you imagine Jake Slaughter at center, Keelan Rutledge at left guard potentially, right? Whether they start the first year or not, you're kind of setting the stage to get that mauler mentality running a rock for sure. So, technical skills. Let's see how he is in pass protection. Pass protection, highly efficient in pass pro. In 2025, he was ranked as one of the top pass blocking centers in the nation by PFF, allowing only 1 sack over 748 offensive snaps. He utilizes an effective punch and a promising kick slide. Run blocking, a physical presence who plays with a high motor. He is skilled at combo blocking and peeling off to engage second-level defenders, i.e., duo, right?
Yep.
Linebackers.
And he's got the high motor. We got to put the high motor emoji up there for him too, right?
Dude, we need
Madden style high motor.
Need a horse or something up there, don't we? Right? with disciplined footwork. So disciplined footwork, and again, man, being able to peel off, whether it's a pin and pull or a duo run, sounds like he would fit what we're trying to do there with Josh Jacobs for sure. Versatility, while he has solidified himself as a premier center, he has the frame and experience to slide to guard if needed. Tim, well, how about that?
Sound familiar?
Yeah. How about that being your backup center? What if you went and got Tyler Linderbaum, and then this guy, Jake Slaughter, was playing starting left guard, and then God forbid something happened to Linderbaum, Jake Slaughter can kick right over to center. That would be pretty cool. That'd be awesome. So something to think about. Let's talk intangibles for a second. Leadership, a team captain who is credited with being the, quote, glue of the offensive line. His decision to return for the 25-26 season was a major factor in maintaining the unit's continuity. Reliability, plays to the final whistle, and has shown remarkable consistency, starting over 25 consecutive games for the Florida Gators. So you're talking about availability, accountability, right? Leadership, accountability, reliability, availability, the two most
Sounds like
important
durability in there too.
Yes, sir. 2026 NFL draft projection. Where's he projected to go? Now, keep in mind, PFF, we just took him in the, where did we take him? Second round, right, Tim?
Yep.
So we took him at pick 74. So draft buzz, currently projected as a potential day 2 pick, second to third round. So that seems to be pretty accurate as it sits right now, with some analysts noting he has the talent to push into the late first round, depending on team needs for a high floor interior starter. So we're going to keep an eye on his stock and see if it raises after the Senior Bowl, during Senior Bowl practice and all that. That's a guy that might end up jumping into the first round. You never know. Key accolades: 2024 first team All-American. He's a 2-time first team All-SEC in 24 and 25, and PFF had him as a top 10 rated center in 2025. And when you look at our PTA big board here, Tim, we've got him, I think we had him 35th overall, if I remember correctly. And the placeholders are a little bit wonky, but somewhere between 33 and 35. So there he is. He's already got the captain emoji. We'll add some of the other emojis in as we get that added in. And you guys have access to this board, again, over at patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. So his 23 PFF grade, he was the 9th highest graded center. 24, he was the 6th highest graded center. 25, the 8th highest graded center. Tim, that's as consistent as it comes, dude. PFF big board had him at 78. That's why he was available. So if you're going, okay, maybe the PFF's too low on him, right? The consensus big board actually has him at 93. So
wow.
There's again, some people think he could create momentum and climb into the late first round, early second. Others think he may fall into the third, right? So it's going to be really, really interesting. Again, his grade is a 38.8, low number wins on our grading scale, guys. So when you see that 38.8, look at it this way. He's worthy of the 38th pick is kind of how our board is seeing it. It doesn't mean that he's the 38th best prospect, because I think he was actually higher than that on our board, okay? However, that's just a good just kind of common theme. When you look at that final grade on the right, you can go, okay. So if you see someone like, and we don't have everybody on here, but let's say like Joshua Josephs, edge defender from Tennessee, when you're thinking, will he be available for us? Would that be a good value pick? Well, you think about where you're picking. If we're picking 54th, that would be a great value pick there. At 74th, not so much, right? So that's kind of a good rule of thumb to use there. So what's your final take here on Jake Slaughter, Tim, and any other players that you see here before we wrap up?
Well, when it comes to Jake Slaughter, I'm not going to say any more nice things about him, because I'm hoping he falls, doesn't rise in the draft board, and maybe we can pick him up. I mean, it's still kind of early-ish, right? A lot of movement can happen. This board's going to be updated multiple times, and on the way to our horizontal board, which is always my favorite time of the year when we build that horizontal board. But yeah, I think you can't go wrong with a guy like Slaughter. I mean, he certainly looks like he has the measurables. He fits the mold. So I'm hoping that he does in fact fall, not rise, for sure.
Yeah, and it's going to be close, man. We'll see. We'll see how everything shakes out. And the thing that makes me nervous, Tim, I almost want to say it every year when we get to this point, is, yeah, if they don't tweak something, if they don't get hurt in the Senior Bowl, if they don't get hurt in the combine, and I prevent myself from saying, because I'm like, God, that's just horrible to think that these guys have worked their ass off to get to the point where they're at. And then the final stage of, all right, we're about to enter the league. And boy, is it a cold-hearted business, man, because it'll just be toss them to the side, drop them down the board. Maybe we'll take a flyer on them in the 7th round or something.
We see that with the combine too, right? We get guys that they'd rather not risk it, and then you get guys that do, and you pull a quad or something on your 40, and next thing you know, you're falling down the draft board. It's like you said, man, crazy business.
Yeah, it really is, man. So again, Jake Slaughter, that's the scouting report on him. If there's anything we got wrong, if there's anything that you guys have to comment on Jake Slaughter, let us know in the YouTube comments. If you watch this video back later, we want to hear from you. What would you think about Jake Slaughter being a Green Bay Packer? Is that maybe you go Philadelphia's route when they had Jason Kelsey and he was still the starting center, and him picked Juergens for him, helped them with the scouting process, and that's your center of the future. And then they played beside each other, and then when Jason retired, right, all of a sudden he popped in there at center. Maybe you go that route with a Tyler Linderbaum and know that 4, 5, 6 years down the road, Jake Slaughter could be the center of the future when you move on from Linderbaum, right? Again, we don't know if Linderbaum is going to be available, but that's the beautiful thing about the offseason, man. Time will tell. and we'll be here every step of the way. So let us know in the comments, what do you think about Jake Slaughter, his build, everything about that scouting report? Make sure you hit like, subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified whenever we go live in the future. Tim, is there anything else you want to hit before we wrap up, man?
No, just happy to be here and had fun doing our first mock. We got the first one under our belt. I'm sure we'll do another 200 or 300 of them before it's all said and done, right, Clay?
All right. So let's hit a couple comments for